Hi friends, welcome to my channel. This is Good Morning Tom. Thank you so much for watching. So this video is all about how to get inspiration for writing another great poem. So you want to write poetry, but you don't know what to write about. You feel like you don't have any inspiration. Well, I know how you feel. Today I will provide you with some tips that might help you get that creativity flowing. So let's start the video right now. So in all honesty, when writing poetry, a lot of waiting is involved. When I spend an evening writing, I know that I'll spend an evening waiting. Most of the time, I'll just sit and stare and wait for something interesting to pop up. However, there are some tricks that might help you get that creativity flowing. I'm going to discuss them with you. I have 7 original tips for you right here. So tip number 1. Read a lot of poetry. I'm sure a lot of people have told you this, but when it comes to writing poetry, a lot of reading is involved. Read the classics, read Keats, read Robert Frost, William Shakespeare, Emily Dickinson, read the classics. You'll get a lot from that, but don't forget to read the contemporary poets as well, because time is involved. Also read the new poets, and I'm not talking about Rupi Kaur, unless you're into that sort of stuff, of course. Tip number 2, try writing in different places. Writing in different places means you get to see different people, you get to hear different people, you get a lot of different vibes. It might get your creativity flowing. For instance, start working in a coffee shop, grab yourself a cup of coffee. You might like it, it might work for you. If you think that's a bit too much distraction, you can also plan a writing week. I'll go to a little house in the middle of the woods. I go there all by myself, and you won't have any distractions. You won't have any people coming around, and will give you a lot of time to work on your poetry and get that creativity flowing. It might be a bit lonely, it might be a bit scared, but it probably works. Tip number 3, and if you're not able to go somewhere else, imagine you are somewhere else. Even better, imagine you are someone else. What would they think? What would they do? Try to look at life from their point of view. It will make you see things from a different point of view, and it might give you new feelings, and it might give you something to write about. Tip number 4, embrace yourself with art. Embrace yourself with different art forms. You don't have to read just poetry. Look at all around you. Go to art exhibitions, go to museums, go to performances, go to the theater. Try looking at some old art movies, listen to music. It's very helpful and effective. It will definitely bring you some new ideas to write about. Tip number 5, go through your old drafts, old poems you once wrote that you probably thought weren't good enough. There's a good chance they're still useful. Go through these old poems and see, who knows, if there's an interesting line or an interesting word, something that you can start with, and don't worry too much about the opening line. You can always change that one later. People put so much pressure on the opening line, but if it gets you going, it's a start, and you can change that line later if you're not happy with it. I would say don't be afraid and get that typewriter going. So tip number 6. This is a risky one and you may not like it, but try to do something a bit more experimental. Back in 1920, Dada artist Tristan Tzara wrote these instructions on how to write a Dadaist poem. Cut out the words from the newspaper, put all these words in the bag, shake the bag, take out each word one by one, and there it is. There is your poem. You might not like it, it might not be your vibe, it might not be your style, but it will get you going, that's for sure. I'll probably make a video about more experimental poetry soon, so if you're into that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Tip number 7. So finally, just wait and trust. Have patience, and eventually something will show up. Because again, a lot of writing is waiting. If you want to be a writer, you better accept the fact that you will spend a lot of your time waiting. But eventually, you will be rewarded with a great poem. So these were 7 tips to get your creativity flowing, to get inspired. Hope you liked it. Another tip, free and easy. If you like poetry, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'm talking about poetry books. I'm talking about writing. There's also a lot of music here, so you might like that as well. I already got some amazing followers. I would love it if you could join the club, and who knows, it might get your creativity flowing. You never know, right? Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you a lovely day or night, and see you all in another video. Bye bye.